then, we're here at Bradford and we're about to get the match underway. So we wait for Bradford, who will kick off the game and kick to Oldham, who will have first possession in this one. Lee Smith just looks round. The referee's just checking that everything is ready to go. And we're underway here at Bradford then. The kick from Lee Smith goes deep into the Oldham half. Oldham will collect that one and bring that back through the hands of I've completely lost my thought. Through Luke Cooley. So now then, hold them in possession then, and they bring the ball centre field, and he's met by Liam Kirk and James Bentley, who bring him down in a two-man tackle. Oldham will still come up this bit of a slope, but that's good Bradford tackling in the opening stages of this one. Damien Sirinen and Colton Roach getting through some early work, putting their names down already on the tackle sheet. Oldham managing to make their way to the 40-metre line, and the referee will say fifth and last. That will go to Dave Hewitt. Dave Hewitt will stick the ball up high. That will fall into the hands of Ilias McCarney. Ilias McCarney then will run with a bit of venom, manages to edge his way up to just 3 metres shy of the 40-metre line in the Bradford half, and James Mendika will take the second drive of the Bradford Bulls' opening set of possession. Scotty Moore then. Scotty Moore feels Colton Roach. Colton Roach gets the Bulls over halfway line, and Bradford now setting up, getting set for some runners. Goes to the fast hand side. The ball goes to Joe Keys, then to James Bentley. James Bentley's wrapped up around about 5 metres in from the Lord Tom Pendry stand, and Bradford, through Liam Kirk, will try and get on the front foot. Fifth and last tackle then of the Bradford Bulls opening set. Joe Keys goes one way, cuts back inside, puts up a bit of a spirally kick. That will test Luke Cooley. Luke Cooley will find his feet and take that one out of the sky and hold them in possession. Mark, first opening sets, what's your thoughts?
Good line speed from Bradford, pinning this Oldham attacking line way back into their own half, not into the Bradford 40-metre area at all yet. It is a bit of a slope, but you think Oldham could play that better. Good line speed, moving on the forwards. Oldham running in ones, and that doesn't all go well for Oldham, but long way to go. But so far, so good for the Bradford Bulls.
Well, we saw then a break from Ben Morris, and Ben Morris was wrapped up before Danny Grimshaw got in there to play the ball and play the ball out towards the Lord Tom Pendry stand. Oldham then on the fifth and last tackle managed to make their way to their own 40-metre line. That will go back. Danny Grimshaw will kick from deep. That will be another tester for Ilias McCarney. Ilias McCarney pulls that one in and sets off on another run. He's looking for support. He shows and goes, Mark, and manages to get Bradford to just 35 metres away from his own try line. James Bentley then will take the next drive of this set, and James Bentley edging forward. Bradford will look now to go over the halfway line, and they do that through Vila Alafifi. That was a bit of a slap around the chops for Vila Alafifi on that drive, but Bradford still asking questions here. A bit of a miss out pass from Colton Roach to Damien Sirinen. Lands in the hands of Corey Aston. Aston is wrapped up then, and just looking to try and find a front foot forward in this game. Fifth and last tackle. Bradford up to the 30-metre line, and looking again. Joe Keys with a little bit of a kick to the fast hand side. That is taken, but that will be a knock on. The first error from Oldham. Mark, another good set from Bradford.
Excellent set from Bradford, putting pressure on Oldham, and Oldham running in ones off the ruck area instead of running in numbers. Very difficult to get out of that defensive area of theirs, because it's quite a notable slope. But that was a good kick in the air from the Bradford Bulls, spinning, and the Oldham player just couldn't take it, spilt it, scrubbed down head and feet to Bradford Bulls, some 15 metres out from the Oldham try line. So a good attacking platform here for Oldham. Sorry, for Bradford.
So Joe Keys puts the ball in at the scrum. Joe Keys then comes out. Ball goes to Scott Moore. Scott Moore feeds Damien Sirinen. Damien Sirinen finds Corey Ashton. Corey Ashton on to Mendika, and James Mendika just over the Oldham 10-metre line. Bradford will go in search of their first points of the afternoon then. Scotty Moore in at dummy half. Gets the ball back off Damien Sirinen. Damien Sirinen feeds the ball out to Scotty Moore. Scotty Moore to Corey Aston. Corey Aston ducks one way, then sprints back on the other. Bradford now 5 metres short of the try line. Joe Keys will move the ball towards the fast hand side, and that will see Josh Ricketts having to just put the brakes on so he didn't go in a touch. Josh Ricketts cuts back on the inside. He's brought down about 2 metres shy of the Bradford now still asking questions of this Oldham defence on the fourth tackle. Liam Kirk brings us back centre field. Fifth and last tackle then is a shout from the referee. Corey Aston will put the ball for hands. James Mendika will put a little kick behind. that will see the ball just go beyond Ilias Makani. So Oldham will get the possession and the restart here. And again, another clever inventive set, Mark, from Bradford.
Very clever inventive set. It came to nothing, but it's putting pressure on Oldham once again. But Bradford penalised for offside at the play of the ball. And all that good work from Bradford there resulted in nothing but a penalty to Oldham on about the 25-metre mark of their half centre field. They're going to boot it to this left-hand side and into the stand where we are, and they're going to gain some much relieving yards, aren't they, with that penalty.
So Luke Cooley then takes a kick that will see Bradford advance down the park here at Bowerfold, and play will restart inside the Bradford half. We're around about 5 metres in from the main stand side on the 40-metre line, and Oldham then put the ball through the hands of Dave Hewitt, and Spencer there will Jack Spencer to try and get Oldham going forward here. Luke Cooley will chime into the line, Mark, as he has done previously when we've seen him play. And again, Oldham looking for something here and trying to open up the Bradford defence. They go one way and now feel that the weakness may be over on that far stand side. As Oldham go over, they're trying to exploit a few gaps. Manages to bring the Oldham attacking player down just shy of the line. That will see a loose passing, which is a bit of a blessing for Bradford. That falls into the hands of Miles Wood. Miles Wood then will try and get Oldham forward, and another little bit of interference there at the play. And what Miles Wood does is he actually pushes a Bradford player and gives a penalty to Bradford, a relieving penalty, Mark.
Yes, it was, because under the cosh there, that was a nice piece of attacking play by Oldham over on the right hand side, and Danny Grimshaw showing a great pair of heels and almost buried his way over in the far corner, but overzealous play from Oldham giving the penalty to Bradford from about 20 metres out. The kick went 40 metres, so Bradford all of a sudden back up to the halfway line, in possession and in control, and should be able to do something with this.
Colton Roach then will take this drive. Colton Roach goes, gets them legs going, gets Bradford to the Oldham 40-metre line, and Scotty Moore will go in at acting half, makes a little scoot, does a little bit of run round, finds Corey Ashton. Corey Ashton finds James Mendika. James Mendika finds Ilias Makani, puts the ball back on the inside to James Mendika, and James Mendika is brought down 5 metres shy of the Oldham try line. Lovely little interplay there between centre and winger. That will see Damien Sirinen go on another drive. He will offload to Colton Roach. Colton Roach to Corey Aston. Here, Corey Aston goes one way, then cuts back towards the uprights of the Oldham Park, Oldham Sticks centre field. Bradford then asking questions as they go on the hunt here. A nice wide pass there will find Josh Ricketts, and that sees Bradford opening the scoring over on the far corner side. Lovely little play there from Joe Keys, finds Josh Ricketts. Josh Ricketts spots the gaps, turns on the burners, in for the try mark.
Great try, but I'm going to really praise Sirinen there about 4 moves back, because he got the ball in centre field. He ran at the Oldham defence. 3 defenders came at him, but he's big enough, wise enough and tall enough. He got the ball out the back door, which meant Bradford could put 2 or 3 more passes on, and the looping pass at the end split the Oldham defence. That's how you beat Oldham. They won't be able to live with that, but very clever from Damienson. Good loose forward play in sucking defenders in, offloading when defenders were committed. What that means is with 3 players out, you've got a gap, and that gap was exploited by Morgan's footwork and passing, slicker passing, faster passing from the Bradford Bulls.
Well, it was a good little set of play, Mark, that started on this main stand side. If we roll the play back, and the interplay between Mendika and Ilias Makani was great. That saw Ilias Makani race away, and Ilias Makani, rather than going down in the tackle, kept the ball alive, offloaded back to James Mendika. That went down then in the tackle, and that allowed Bradford to get some field position. And then, as you say, few passes across. Damien Sirinen showing all his experience there. You know, he's only a young lad, but he's still got plenty of experience. Kept the ball alive to Colton Roach. Colton Roach then managing to push the ball further wide, eventually into the hands of Josh Ricketts. And Bradford get the try mark, which is no more than what they deserve at this stage of the game. You know, I think Bradford, in the opening stages of this one, 8 minutes on the clock, have certainly been the better of the 2 teams.
Yes, they have, but I think you need a good 15-point lead in modern day rugby league football, particularly going to defend that slope in the second half. Yeah,
well, Scott Moore then comes up with the conversion, but unfortunately Scott Moore puts that one short. So the score now remains on the Providence scoreboard here at Bowerfold. Oldham Ruffians 0, Bradford Bulls 4. As we wait for Oldham through Luke Cooley to get the Luke Cooley will put the ball on the centre spot. Luke Cooley strikes that one, sends that one deep. That will go out on the full.
Well, I often criticise linesmen, but the linesman on the far side of the ground, the Bradford Bulls put their hand and said, that was out on the full. A linesman said no, it isn't. It bounced first. So was that bad defending from the Bradford Bulls? But it was a great kick from Oldham, but it isn't a drop out to the Bradford Bulls. Tuvey won't be happy with that because you're going to kill those balls.
Well, those are coach killers, Mark. And, for all intents and purposes there, for the people that's not inside the ground, what actually happened, we got one touch to say it had gone dead. We got the other one that said it hadn't, that it had bounced. And the referee, obviously, over Oldham, went with the one that said, no, it'll be a drop out to Oldham. But Bradford, managing to muscle up and attack then, in defence, should I say, managing to keep Oldham restricted in the yards that they're making, as Jack Spencer will try to get Oldham on the front foot, manages to get Oldham to the 40-metre line of the Bradford Bulls, as Oldham now will sit centre field about 35 metres away from the Bradford Bulls try line, putting the balls through hands. Some lovely quick movements there through Danny Grimshaw, managing to find Steve Neal. Steve Neal goes down in the tackle. They will now bring the ball back towards the sticks. That will bounce and bobble for Lee Smith to take the ball. Lee Smith then takes the ball and he's wrapped up under two Oldham tacklers, and now Bradford have got some work to do to get on the front foot and try and find a chink in this Oldham defence, which should be easy enough to find, Mark. I don't think I've seen anything yet that's
no. Well,
they're not beatable.
They don't look a big side to me, don't Oldham, and they don't look an overly aggressive and physical side. And this is where you've got to be like Surin is there now. You've got to want to be aggressive. You've got to run hard, and then harder, and then harder still. And having to kick from the 30-metre mark is no good for Bradford. That's poor.
Well, Luke Cooley takes that one with great delight. He will run across the park and sell a little dummy, and then he'll straighten up and try and split the Bradford line. Goes past Joe Keys. Eventually is wrapped up by Corey Ashton and James Bentley, but James Bentley comes up with a penalty then. The referee says there was a little bit of afters there, which gives Oldham now another relieving penalty, and we'll no doubt see Oldham kick this one to touch on the Lord Tom Pendry stand, and that will then give Oldham the advantage 35 metres out from the Bradford Bull try line.
Well, it will, Peter, and in the second half you saw how Bradford dropped the ball out from under the sticks on the last time they were pushed over. It'll go a long way, so you've got to keep the penalties to a minimum and think about what you're going to do. That's born out of frustration, not getting your structures right. Bradford need to run as a H, need to run in structures out of the defensive end instead of running in one sideways.
So Oldham then through Matthew Wilkinson will go in search and trying to find a little gap in this Bradford line. Bradford so far been able to stand up. Ben Davis there wrapped up in the tackle of Damon Siren and Colton Roach. They will bring the ball through Dave Hewitt towards this main stand side. That will see Adam Clare wrapped up, and Oldham now will put the ball to ground, do a little kick along the floor. That's wrapped up then and picked up quite easily by James Mendika. James Mendika will then play the ball to Scott Moore. Scott Moore then into Corey Ashton. Corey Ashton fields Colton Roach, and Colton Roach now will try and get Bradford going forward. So Lee Smith in there now at the pivot. That then hits Colton Roach again. He's wrapped up under three Oldham tacklers. Bradford struggling to get any forward momentum here, although Joe Keys drops one way and drops the other. If he'd have played the ball there and not the ball go to James Bentley would have raced away. Corey Aston then with a kick. That will turn the Oldham attack round. And that will see Oldham bring the ball back now when managed to get their way over their own 10-metre line, about 15 metres from the Oldham line, as Oldham will now come forward and try to get themselves on the front foot. Liam Kirk then wrapping up the Oldham attacking player there with Damien Sirenen, as Oldham Oldham managed to keep the ball alive. The ball now in the hands of Matthew Wilkinson. Matthew Wilkinson feeds Mikey Wood. Mikey Wood is wrapped up by Corey Aston and Cameron Smith, but Oldham still managing to inch their way into the Bradford half, now find their way to the 35 metres away from the Bradford Bulls try line. The ball goes up on the fifth and last. That's a bit of a tester for Ilias McCarney. Ilias McCarney takes that one, and now Bradford have got it all to do again, Obo.
Yes, they have, and they've got the ball back, but they're pending their own 10-metre area. Oldham coming back into the game and quite confident. Oldham, they're looking good. Jack Spencer's running hard and strong. I've been disappointed yet again, game after game, where Bradford look running ones at the defensive area. Well, how are you supposed to run? Well, what you do is you run in numbers. You get somebody running on the left-hand side, you get somebody running on the right-hand side, and you look having to kick again on the 30-metre mark.
Well, that's a great kick from Corey Aston, but right, as you say,
you don't have to kick out your own 30-metre area.
No.
Your forwards aren't doing the job properly.
No, we're certainly not seeing any forward dominance here, and Bradford will get the ball back because the referee deems that a forward 20. So Scotty Moore will play the ball quickly to Damien Siren. Damien Siren finds James Bentley. James Bentley will crawl his way towards the line. Bradford sit about a metre short of the Oldham try line. That will see Mikel Alaleski try to crash over the line, and then Bradford do actually score through, I think it's Scott Moore, is it, that's managed to find his way in?
Well, there's a posse of players around the ball carrier. Siren had 2 bites at it, and he nearly got there. He was stopped by the post. Yeah. They played the ball, and I think it was a scoop from Scotty Moore that got the try. Yeah,
Scotty Moore then manages to just sneak in from the ruck area, not playing the ball away from the ruck mark, and just managing to create a little chink and go in and give Bradford Bulls now a further try that pushes them out to 8-0 on the Providence scoreboard here at Bower Fold.
I think Bradford now need to really put the foot on the gas. Need to get Oldham in a stranglehold. Don't let them out. Choke them to death. And that's got to be done by forward domination, because I think this Oldham pack have been quite confident so far that they've not had a real test from the Bradford, apart from Sirenin. He's the only man that's running any real venom out of the ruck area, and I wish we'd 6 Sirenins, I'll tell you. We wouldn't be in the bottom of the league, but we haven't. There you go. So that's the message I think is going to come out from Jeff Tuvey, because I think if they can do that, I think the Bradford 3/4 will have an extra little bit of guile, an extra little bit of pace. I'd like to see Joe Keys do a little bit more, a little bit too quiet for me at stand-off half. But Corey Aston's putting some good kicks. And that was a great 40-20 there, but you can't, 20-40, but you can't rely on kicking out of the 30-metre area every time. There's a slope on this pitch, so the ball carries it. You've got to drive you out into your opponent's area and attack from the halfway line.
So here we are then, we've had 16 minutes on the clock. This one, you're listening to the Big Match Live on BCB 106.6 FM, brought to you in association with Providence, supporting Bull supporters home and away. The score on the Providence scoreboard stands Oldham Ruffians 0, the Bradford Bulls 10, as we wait for Luke Hooley then to kick, play and get play back underway here at Bower Fold. He puts that one high. That will be taken by Ilias McCarney. Ilias McCarney will then set off on another little run down to try and relieve the pressure here. Mikel Alaleski is now on the pitch for Bradford, so a bit more oomph up front mark if needed. And it's to be hoped that he will certainly make some telling runs when he gets in possession. Damien Siren, and then Damien Siren feeds Cameron Smith. Cameron Smith takes a tackle, and he's wrapped up there under 2 Oldham tackles. So Carlton Roach will now try to get Bradford on the front foot. Bradford still inside their own half, just shy of their own 40-metre line. Joe Keys then will move the ball to James Bentley. James Bentley will drop the shoulder and go one way, and then manages to get the ball out to Josh Ricketts. However, the referee has now given a penalty and said there was a bit of an hand in there as we see Damien Sirenin come off the park with looking like he's a bit winded, Mark.
Yes, I think he got a big hit, did he, in the side of the ribs or something. I think Jeff Toohey's brought him off for precautionary reasons. But Bradford in the ascendancy, but you still feel you haven't got this game by the scruff of the neck, the Bradford Bulls, although they are leading by 10-0. They've got to get the game by the scruff of the neck, and that's got to be more forward dominance. They've got to run hard and straight in numbers into the heart of this Oldham pack, soften them up, then let the three quarters do the work.
Well, that was Bradford's second penalty of the afternoon then, as play gets back underway through Scotty Moore. Scotty Moore then feeds the ball on to Mikel Alaleski. Mikel Alaleski brings the ball in field just shy of the 20-metre line as Bradford will try through Carlton Roach to inject some pace into the attack. And again, Scotty Moore now will take the ball back towards the Tom Pendry stand. Joe Keys goes one way, then goes the other, and Joe Keys kind of confuses one or two of his own players. Ross Peltier is now on the park. That will see Big Ross open his bulk and frame as he goes looking for another try. Scotty Moore then will dart towards the line from the play of the ball, but the referee has said that Scotty Moore's knocked on. Is going to bring the play back and give scrum and feed to Oldham. Bradford players look a little bit bemused by that, asking questions. Scotty Moore's looking at the referee to say, "What me, sir?" in his best choir boy look there, Mark. But again, another error and a critical point of the game that Bradford were just starting to get on top.
Well, you've got your opponents under the cosh, and you make an error, and an error from an ex-England international as well, which isn't good. So Jeff Tooby won't be happy with that. But they've got to keep the pressure on, as I say. This is quite a noticeable slope. Oldham know it very well. They've got a good kicking game, this Oldham side, and I don't think 10 points lead is enough. But we'll take it. We're in the lead, but we've got to be a little bit more dominant. But so far, so good for the Bradford Bulls.
Bradford Bulls then muscling up in defence as Colton Roach and Ross Peltier come in there for a tackle. Sorry, Mikel Alaleski and Ross Peltier come in for a tackle on Joe Burke. But Oldham again managing to crawl their way slowly but surely forward up this slope through Sadiq Adidebi, and that will see Matthew Wilkinson then take a drive from around the ruck area and get Oldham over the 40-metre line of the Bradford Bulls. Oldham then through Dave Hewitt will look to go and carry on forward. They now sit 30 metres shy of the Bradford Bulls try line. Dave Hewitt then will kick. He'll kick for touch. That finds touch, and again, I don't know, Mark. I'm not sensing that Oldham have got any real attacking threat from the players that we've seen. They seem very slow to react on the last tackle counts.
Yeah, well they are, but what they're doing, if you notice, Pete, with their sets, they're getting into the Bradford 30-metre mark. They're driving harder and faster. They're running in ones, just like Bradford are, but they're in that little bit deeper onto the football, and this is something that concerns me and has done all season. They've actually got into the Bradford 30-metre area with their sets. You're right, on the last play they don't look they've got anything that's really tantalising or anything that's dangerous, but why can they get up 60, 70 metres upfield with their sets and Bradford only gain 30 and 40? Well, the answer is the forwards are going to be more dominant, going to be more. Cameron Smith's going to just stand up and smash into it and be counted. He's just not doing anything for me, Cameron Smith.
No, he's
very quiet.
Yeah, very, very quiet so far from Cameron Smith. 21 minutes on the clock played on this one then. The score, Oldham 0, Bradford Bulls 10, as Bradford now in possession with James Bentley. Go in search of more points. James Bentley fields Mikel Alaleski. Sorry, Scott Moore fields Mikel Alaleski. Mikel Alaleski manages to get Bradford Bulls up to their own 40-metre line, but there's still a little bit of messing about at the scrummage area. We now see Cameron Smith actually take one in the face there, Mark. But Corey Aston now will get Bradford on the front foot as we see Sam Alice feed Joe Keys. Joe Keys will put a kick towards the far stand side. That will fall into the hands of Josh Ricketts. Josh Ricketts manages to offload to James Bentley, and James Bentley goes in for a try over in the far corner. Inventive play, Mark, from the Bulls on the last tackle set, and that's just what the doctor ordered.
Well, I said I wanted Joe Keys to come into the game a little bit more, and he must have heard me there, because he did. And from about 35 metres out, he put a terrific kick in the air. It flew up, 40 metres in the air. It came down beautifully for the Bradford player, but that Bradford player got his body in the right position. It was passed out to James Bentley. He had a lot of work to do down the left-hand side of the Oldham defence, but he did it, got round them and flew in at the corner. Youthful exuberance, good footwork and speed on the flanks. Bradford got it there over Oldham, and that's another try, but with a very difficult conversion right on the touchline side.
So Scotty Moore then will, Lee Smith will look to kick this one, as the Bradford fans here in the main stand side applaud the team back as they regather. Just taking water on and just taking instructions there from Jeff Toovy's assistants on the park. We see Joe Keys. Change of kicker here. Yeah, Joe Keys is going to try and kick from the Lord Tom Pendry stand. We hear the Bradford Bulls fans in good voice amassed in the south stand, Mark, I will call it, in the social club bar. Yeah, Social Club Bar. Only three parts of this ground open, and that one just sails wide from Joe Keys. So the score remains Oldham 0, Bradford Bulls 14. I think the stadium announcer beat me to it then, Mark.
He did beat you to it, and it's a pity we didn't kick that, and that's 2 kicks we've missed. But, I still don't think it's enough, and I might be being hypercritical. I just think Oldham know this ground well enough, and with this slope they could come back. But Bradford need to just get this ball back and do more of the same, ruthlessness, pressure and put your opponents under pressure. And I think a couple of more scores would do it for the Bradford Bulls.
So Oldham kick off through Luke Cooley. Luke Cooley will, that ball will find Ilias McCarney. Ilias McCarney will then feed Mikkel Alaleski. He's wrapped up under some roughhouse tackle from Sam G, who's now on the park. Now, we love Mr. Sam G as commentators. He is a real roughhouse, alehouse forward. But Bradford make a break now through James Bentley. We're queuing up here. That will see Corey Aston. Corey Aston goes away. What a fantastic try. All made from some clever inventive play, keeping the Bradford off. The Bradford Bulls run fully 60 metres to put that one down. The lads gather round Corey Aston. Great scenes here at Bower Ford. What a fantastic try, Mark, and what a great way to Bradford to keep on the pressure here against this Oldham Ruffians team.
Well, that was entertaining and fantastic stuff, and it started off, didn't it, right on the own 20 metre mark with a great break from Bradford into hands of Bentley. Bentley did some good work. He broke away 30 metres down the central channel, passed it inside. The ball went, I think, to Keys, then back inside to the fastest runner probably on the field in Corey Aston. Corey Aston nearly got caught by, to be fair, a chasing Oldham defender, but he just sprinted away, touched the ball down to the sticks. Entertainment, and why didn't the Bradford Bulls play like this earlier on in the season?
Well, where's this performance been? I mean, that was fantastic. James Bentley again, although we know he said, Mark, the pressure's off him. He seems to be enjoying this rugby now. I think that now the decision's made that he's off to Saints, but Bradford's loss is going to be St Helens gains, Mark.
Without a shadow of that, he's got a good rugby brain, and he created that opening from watching just what the Oldham defence did. And players that can do that are extra special, because not many players can. And he saw the Oldham defence were asleep. He found the gap, he went at it. But not only that, he encouraged players around him to run onto the ball. And when you're running numbers, Peter, harp on about it week in, week out. It's very difficult to defend against people running left and right off the shoulder of the ball carrier.
Well, Corey Aston actually converts his own try. That will push Bradford out now, and the score on the Providence scoreboard reads Oldham Ruffians 0, Bradford Bulls 20. A couple of quick score updates from around the grounds as I've got them. Dewsbury 12, Toulouse 4. Here it's Bradford 20, Oldham 0. Rochdale and Batley are locked up 6 apiece, and Sheffield are leading Swinton 8-6, Mark.
Well, that's interesting, but just again, Oldham have done it. They've managed to, and this just shows they know this ground very well. From the kick-off, they bulleted the ball. It only went about 15 foot off the ground all the way, had distance on it, bounced in between 2 Bradford defenders like a bullet on a very hard, short grass pitch, and bounced out, so Bradford must drop out. Now, that's something they're going to have to step up on in the second half, because they're going to do it again and again, aren't they, in the second half, making Bradford come up this slope.
Sadiq Adidabi then collects the ball on his own 40 metre line. He will advance towards the Bradford Bulls 40 metre line. He's wrapped up by Scotty Moore and James Bentley, but they come up with a penalty, and that will see Oldham now take advantage and move further up the park towards a Bradford try line. So Oldham, capitalising on the mistake from the kick-off, they will just quickly tap that one and take the drive through Sam G. And like I say, big barrel-chested Sam G, managing to get Oldham to the 20 metre line now, as Bradford really do need to muscle up in defence here at this one. They move the ball now towards a Lord Tim Pendriston on the far stand side. James Bentley and Josh Ricketts having to get through some extra tackling over on that side, with James Mendika helping out as well, as Oldham come back now this way through Dave Hewitt. Dave Hewitt's wrapped up just in front of the sticks, about 10 metres out, and Oldham still looking for their first points of the afternoon. Sam G goes one way, manages to offload the ball. That will see a score from Mikey Wood. And Mark, a little bit confused there, because the tackling there on Sam G was just like able to take a stroll as if he was out on a Sunday afternoon walk around the park.
I'm glad you said that, because Sam G's come on the field and he's a robust and rotund player. He knows how to put himself about, but he's not the fittest and not the fastest. And all that came from the kick-off from Oldham that Bradford bombed again. So they give the position back to Oldham, and they returned that from about the halfway line. Got into this left-hand side. Sam G saw a gap in the Bradford defence, and at half pace, like a Thursday night training move, he just spun the ball out for his oppo to touchdown. Very poor defence. The A and B markers there for Bradford were non-existent, and that's poor. That's where you're going to switch on. Adrenaline's going to be flowing. You make better tackles when your adrenaline's flowing. You're going to be more aggressive. Aggression has got to come from the Bradford pack. More aggression.
Well, Oldham then hit back through Jack Spencer with a try. Lou Cooley will take the conversion as we wait for the conversion to take. The sun is absolutely streaming down here at this ground here, the home of the Oldham Ruffians, and Lou Cooley converts that one, so that will push a score now on the Providence scoreboard to Oldham Ruffians 6, Bradford 20, as we wait for Scott Moore to get the game back underway here. And it's now all Bradford have got to do, Mark. They've got to get back to exerting some pressure and keeping the Oldham team down in this bottom half and hope that they come up with an error.
That's exactly the tactic, Pete. And Oldham, as I say, have got a tremendous kicking game, and it's shown from kick-off, from hand, and they use the width and the length and the slope of this pitch to their advantage. They will go in very happy at half-time if it stays like this. Although they're going to be 14 points behind, they probably think they can pull that back with a kicking game, pushing Bradford into the bottom corner and doing what you just said Bradford are going to do to them.
So 30 minutes gone on the scoreboard then, on the clock, should I say, as Corey Aston meets Cameron Pearce-Paul and tries to put him to the ground, although Oldham still with the ball, and that will see Jack Spencer go one way and then cut back on the other way. Oldham now still trying, as Danny Grimshaw puts a little kick over behind Ilias McCartney. That will bounce awkward, but Ilias McCartney will pick that one up, manages to regather, manages to get back into the field of play and make his way towards the Bradford Bulls 10 metre line as a referee shouts held. Bradford then, with the Suns on their backs, will come down this pitch as Sam G goes in again, wanting to exert his authority on the game. And again, Bradford now with James Mendika over on the Lord St Pendry stand side will look to see if they can find any chink in this Oldham defensive line. Lee Smith wrapped up quite easily there by Sadiq Adebe and Matthew Wilkinson on the fifth and last tackle. Bradford just managed to make their way to their own 40 metre line, and now the ball will go through hands. That's Cameron Scott. Cameron Scott will field Ilias McCartney. Ilias McCartney will put a little chip kick over the top. Lou Cooley takes that one, and he's wrapped up quite cleanly by the onrushing Bradford defence of Cameron Smith and James Mendika there. And now Oldham will have the ball 12 metres shy of their own try line. Mikhail Alaleski getting through some tackling work there as Jack Spencer will try again to get Oldham on the front foot. And now we see a penalty given to Oldham for a bit of an infringement there at the tackle. Adam Clay brought down there. Lou Cooley then, with all in hand, will kick this one. Lou Cooley will kick that. Now that hasn't gone. Ilias McCartney knocks that back in field. That's picked up by Lee Smith. Lee Smith then will go one way. He's then tackled in the just over his own 40 metre line. That was very good ball watching skill from Ilias McCartney. Bradford now get a penalty because the Oldham defence through Sam G and Matthew Wilkinson very, very late to get off Lee Smith and let him play the ball. So penalties galore then, as we see. 4 apiece, Mark. And a great kick from Bradford. What can Bradford do here, Mark?
Well, they're going to put some pressure on, and I'd take 2 big drives in down the central channel, and then I'd hit the ball wide. Because I think Oldham have stood up to Bradford physically, and I respect Oldham for that. But Bradford are just going to use their better passing skills, I feel, and probably a bit better execution of pace to the advantage. But the way to do that is to split defenders and leave gaps.
So Bradford through Corey Aston. will then come up as a ball. It's Sam Alice. Sam Alice comes up with an error, and that will be first knock on. The referee stopped the play. He's going to bring the play back, and I think he'll go first knock on and give the head and feet to Oldham, which he does, which obviously that was Sam Hallis that knocked on from a little drop-off pass from Corey Aston. When Bradford were in a commanding position and looking to open the Oldham defensive line over on the far left-hand side of the park. But a small break in hit play now, where both teams take on a little bit of water. The referee's saying, come on, let's get this together. The referee today is John McMullen, who Bradford Bulls had last week. John McMullen from Warrington. And a little bit controversial last week when he put Bradford on a team warning towards the end of the game for infringements that had gone on throughout the game. But he's refereeing this one so far, Matt, and he's been in control.
Yes, to be fair, he has, yes. And it's been a free-flowing game, which has been quite good. But the sun, I would think, is in the eyes of the Oldham players, so Bradford are going to cop that in the second half. So, again, I think more pressure from Bradford is needed. Probably, another 5 minutes left of this half, 6 minutes left. And I think another score for Bradford would be the order of the day.
I've got to agree with you, Matt. I think Bradford really do need to try and finish this half. They're stronger in these last 5 minutes. As Oldham come up with a knock on there, the referee will give head and feet to Bradford. Bradford will get the put in just 45. Well, they're around about 8 metres away from the halfway line. So this could be the attacking set that the Bulls need, Hobbo.
Well, they've got to do something with this, and they're going to make something of it. And even if they can't score, they've got to put their opponents under pressure by the last tackle in this set being the correct option.
So we'll wait for the scrum to pack down then. As it does, Joe Keys feeds the scrum. Scotty Moore takes the ball from the back of the scrum, feeds Josh Ricketts, and lo and behold, Josh Ricketts knocks on. So, deja vu. Matt, how many times this season, how many games have we called when Bradford have had the possession in key positions and they've just come up with the schoolboy errors, Matt?
Lots, and welcome Josh Ricketts to the world of professional rugby league, because everybody's allowed a mistake, but you've got to switch on. That's the difference between a boy player with potential and becoming a good championship player or Super League player. And you have to work on that, because that's just standing position back to Oldham. I think that those mistakes have cost Bradford their place in the championship this year more than anything else.
So Oldham then will attack now through Sadiq Adedebi. Sadiq Adedebi will take the drive and manage to get Oldham up to the 40-metre line, and that will see Dave Hewitt go in, feed Sam G. Sam G will go towards Mikalala Leski and Sam Alice, and Scotty Moore in there to help bring Sam G down, as Oldham still with the ball in hand through Matthew Wilkinson will attack the far stand side, and that will see Luke Adamson trying to force a bit of away and get a bit of advantage. Now the referee goes for another penalty. Will penalise Bradford for what he's saying. He's holding down at the play of the ball, and again Bradford piggybacking this Oldham team far too easily up this part. I don't think, looking down at the coaching staff of Bradford, that Messrs Tuvey, Dunning and Beattie are quite happy with that one, Mark.
No, well, the Bradford Bulls are in the lead and deserve the lead, quite frankly, but Oldham are still in this game, as you can see now.
So Oldham then will go in search of more points to finish this half, and that's sees a lovely little break there. The referee's going to stop play here, as it looks like James Bentley has taken a bit of a head knock.
Yeah, it was he went forward in the tackle, didn't he, and he's headed the service. It'll be quite hard, this service. All there's grass on it, there's no ball patch. It is quite a well-watered, a fantastic rugby league surface. And that's why we've seen some good rugby league football. But too many errors by both sides, particularly from Bradford. They've not got the strength. The Bradford Bulls have not got the foot on the neck of the Oldham players, because it's staccato. It's pressure, score, mistake, pressure, mistake, and they've got to cut it out. They've let Oldham back into good field position too many times.
Danny Grimshaw then will play the ball. He will play the ball on Matthew Wilkinson. Matthew Wilkinson will put the ball to Luke Cooley. Luke Cooley will come down this near stand side. He's eventually wrapped up by Cameron Smith, and Bradford muscling up again in defence as they pull off another try-saving tackle on Cameron Pierce-Paul there. and bring him down. Luke Cooley in an acting half. He will then hit Dave Hewitt. Dave Hewitt will dodge one way, step back on the other. Manages to keep the play alive. Dave Hewitt then hits Steve Neal. Steve Neal puts a crossfield kick. That will test James Bentley. James Bentley takes that one in goal, so that will get a restart for Bradford and a 7 tackle set here, Mark. Now, what can Bradford do? Josh Ricketts brings the ball away, and they do look similar, Mark, from where we're sat.
Very difficult.
I'll have to remember that James Bentley's got a white elbow pad on, so I'll keep looking for that now to try and distinguish them two. But Bradford, centre park, through Sam Hallis, and Sam Hallis gets a penalty for Oldham trying to reef the ball away there through Sam G. And
I'd go for 2 points here.
Yeah, I would be inclined to agree with you. Take the pressure off. Although it's 40 metres, Mark. I think that.
He can kick that, can Joe Keys, and so can Corey Aston. It was straight. I'd have gone for 2 points, but I'm not the coach. We're going to go for the try and for the attack.
Well, what Bradford do on that kick then, they were on the 40 metre line, they managed to take the kick. That will see play resume just 3 metres short of the 20 metre line. Bradford will go centre park with Damien Sirenen, who's now back on the park. He will hit Cameron Smith. Cameron Smith will then find Corey Aston. Corey Aston will go one way, and he's wrapped up by Adebayo and Matthew Wilkinson. Although Bradford still managing to keep the ball alive. A little float over pass that strikes the Oldham player, but he manages to regather. The referee says that that's a knock-on, and the Oldham players look a little bit perplexed. They're actually arguing with the officials here, Mark, and the referee's not paying any attention to that. I think that's just a delaying tactic, though, as he drops the ball in the corner at the feet.
I think it is. Yes, I think it is. Try to slow the clock down. Yeah. They knocked it forward, Oldham. I mean, that's a blind man and galloping horse can see that.
That's it. Well, Steve Neal then, thought that he'd knocked it one way and then managed to regather, but he did actually knock it, and rightly as the referee's given a knock on. So Bradford get a scrum. Now it's up to what Bradford can do here as we edge towards the final stages of this first half here at Bower Fold. Don't forget the scoreline on the Providence scoreboard reads Oldham Roughly had 6, the Bradford Bulls 20. As the cries for forward pass go out, I don't think that was forward though, as Damien Sirenen hit Lee Smith. Lee Smith then gets up and plays the ball. The ball goes through hands. That finds its way to James Bentley. James Bentley still over on the far stand side. We'll look to see if he can get anything from James Mendika to send him in, but no. Bradford still with the ball. Then we'll look to come back on the 3rd tackle here now of this set, and it's all for Bradford to do. Corey Aston feeds Lee Smith. Lee Smith drops one way, feeds the other. That will be a forward pass, and again a player of Lee Smith's experience, Mark, there
should never have passed that.
Should have been taking the tackle.
Yeah, it should. Yeah, you're right. Well, there's 2 things there's 2 answers to that, and Jeff Tew is going mad about that. Why did he throw it? He said. First of all, there should have been runners there in decent positions off his shoulder to be able to pass it to somebody. Secondly, when he saw they couldn't, he shouldn't have passed it.
Scrum down then, head and feed. We've around about, I think, 2 minutes left on the clock, Mark, if I'm about right. But Bradford will have to defend and try and keep Oldham here. Bradford lucky there not to concede another penalty, a bit of afters from Damien Sirenen in the tackle, and managing to clear the ruck. Mikel Alaleski in there with Cameron Smith to bring down the Oldham attacking play. As Oldham now with the ball will slowly but surely edge their way over their own 30 metre line. Matthew Wilkinson then feeds Michael Ward. Michael Ward will come on a little bit of a thing. He will buck about like a bucking bronco, which old man's a referee. Corey Aston looks perplexed at that one. Jeff Tuvey shakes his head. I think 99% of the crowd are shaking their heads here as Luke Cooley takes that kick that will set Oldham in the Bradford half, and Oldham will restart on the Bradford Bulls 40 metre line.
Yes, they will, and that was a shake of the head from me as well, because there was nothing wrong with that. This is the trouble with the referee standards, but anyway, we've got to play with it. Why didn't we go for the 2 points 3 minutes ago and get the ball back? That's thinking for me and tactics, and then go in the sheds and come out in the second half. We didn't, and we're now defending with about a minute and a half to go on the clock, and if Oldham score here, then that is real game on.
Well, what we see now is Oldham completely outmanning the referee again, and that is Danny Grimshaw, who just dropped the ball in the tackle and the referee wasn't even looking at, nor was his touch judge. The referee gives another penalty as a half-time hooter goes, a welcomed half-time hooter here at the Bowerfold Stadium, the home of Oldham Ruffians.
Can you imagine the Amers and the Fairbanks and the Hills allowing that to happen? Can you imagine, the 70s, the Fishers, the Johnny Rays, the Goddards, the Ken Roberts, the rest of his soul who died this week? They just wouldn't have allowed it. They would have belted him to death. They wouldn't have dared do it. We've got to get that spice and aggression back into our forward front row, and particularly, now, quickly in the second half.
So the second half underway then, as Oldham kick deep to Bradford, who will have possession for the first time in this second half. That will see Damien Sirenen come with the ball in hand. He manages to edge his way forward and get Bradford over the 30-metre line. There's a cry for forward pass there, and the referee will stop the play. And again, Bradford come up with an error, the first error, Mark, of this first half.
Well, Jeff Tooby's absolutely, I'm 10 foot away from me. I can read his language, and I would be absolutely livid if I was coaching West Bowling under 13s and they came up with a mistake like that. That is pathetic from professional rugby league players who think they're going to make the grade. They'll make the grade as amateurs in the Pennine League playing like that. That is, and he doesn't coach that. They've got to switch on.
Well, it is. It's a coach killer, Mark. You know what I mean? And you look at his face, and I bet Tooby's thinking there that if he could put a shirt on, Mark, and get out on that park, he would put a shirt on and get out on that park and show one of the two of his players the way to go on and the way that it should be done.
Exactly. There was no need for that. There was no need to do it. It was laziness. It was sloppy. It was lack of thinking.
So Oldham then will attack the Bradford line. They currently sit around 25 metres away from the Bradford Bulls try line. And Bradford are going to have to really, really muscle up in defence here to stop the Oldham forwards, who are certainly getting up quite a head of steam here, and certainly attacking the Bradford line with a bit of purpose. As the ball comes over towards its near stand side, that will go through hands. That will hit Lou Cooley. Lou Cooley goes one way, steps back on the inside.
He's been dangerous for Oldham, Pete. I've been quite impressed with Lou Cooley.
Yeah. The former Bradford Bulls Academy player, of course.
Yes, indeed.
Yeah, but that will now see Bradford in possession as that sees Bradford now in possession through James Mendika. James Mendika, it's Ilias Makani. Ilias Makani will take the second drive of this set of 6 to get Bradford over their own 20-metre line. Cameron Smith then will take the next drive. He's wrapped up quite easily and picked off quite easily by the Oldham defenders. I think there's an injury to Ilias Makani. Certainly waving on the physio over on that Lord Tom Pendry stand as play continues. Damien Sirenen then opens up his big frame, looking to offload, but nobody there to take the pass from Damien Sirenen. Scott Moore will keep the play going. He hits Corey Aston. Corey Aston puts up a kick on the 5th and last. That spiral, Luke Cooley takes that one with great ease. He's then wrapped up by James Bentley and Corey Aston. And Mark, I could see you're itching there.
The frustration of what I see. The pass from Scott Moore was half-hearted. He went to the floor, but look at the Bradford player picked it up. The kick from, I think it was Corey Aston, was non-effective. It was too light. It wasn't deep enough. I don't know where these guys, and now they're offside at the play of the ball. In Oldham back down the field. I'm not sure I agree with that decision from the referee, but there you go. It's being given now.
Yeah, well, he points to Joe Keys and Vila Alafifi there and says you're offside. That will see Oldham advance to the Bradford Bulls 20-metre line. And now Oldham will certainly want to turn the screw. Sam G then takes the ball, goes one way, bursts the tackle, looking to offload in the tackle. He's eventually wrapped up there. That took it took a bit of sting from Damien Sirenen to actually sit Sam G down. But Oldham still looking here to get on the front foot through Luke Adamson. Luke Adamson's wrapped up and by James Bentley. Luke Cooley will go in acting half. The ball will hit Sadiq Adidebe. Adidebe on loan from London Broncos will still manage to the Bradford Bulls defence holding tight here as the ball goes then quickly through hands as Oldham look to try and open a gap on the far stand side, but that gap's quickly wrapped up by the Bradford defence. Then that's an error from that's an error from Oldham that sees The ball go to ground. The referee says that it's a Bradford Bulls player. Sam G will go in search of a try. He's held up on the line. The referee said, well, he's held just short of the line. The referee said that was back to 1 and in possession back to Oldham. Sam G will play the ball. Oldham here must think that all the Christmases are coming at once, and that is weak defended from Joe Keys, and James Bentley there held his head in his hands. But I've got to point the finger there, Mark, and I've got to point the finger at Joe Keys, because that was diabolical.
I'm going to say something. I was going to resist there, but you can't tackle like that. You can't tackle like that. And Bentley and Keys, the tackling there was like amateurs. You can't tackle like that. You can't tackle it. And you know, the referee made a bad decision, a terrible decision. You know, and Jeff Toohey's arguing with the match commissioner there. Frustration at the Bradford Bulls. Do you know why you get frustrated in rugby league? When players who were so-called rugby league players who get paid play like amateurs, because that's not acceptable, and that wasn't acceptable. And the referee was wrong, I think, in that decision. I think Toohey's right, but they're back in this game. You could see it coming in the first half. You know, it's like being a know-all. There's no aggression and no forward pack power to destroy this Oldham side that are running in ones, which is quite easy to defend against at all whatsoever. And we've got players who are out on that field now. No wonder we're going to go down into the other league, because we just cannot tackle.
Well, the tackling was non-existent. Luke Cooley strikes that one, but fails with his conversion attempt. We see Jeff Toohey sort of like pointing the finger and having words and remonstrating with the fourth official here at Bower Falls, as Colton Roach goes back onto the park to replace Mikkel Alaleski. And now Bradford really know that they've got a game on their hands at 10 points to Oldham, 20 points to Bradford Bulls. And Bradford Bulls are really going to have to dig deep, Mark, and find something in this one.
They've got to dig deep. It's a war of attrition. I can tell you, they're going to have to cling on like there's no tomorrow. They're going to make no more mistakes, and they're going to make sure there's enough points between them so the referee, if he does make an error, they're just going to get on with it. But they're tackling. Game is winning defence. They've got to hit harder and tackle harder. They've got to hit with the shoulder harder and tackle with venom, and just let these Oldham players know we are tougher than you are. You are not doing that to us.
Well, Jack Spencer then, the Oldham loose forward, manages to feed the ball to Matthew Wilkinson. Matthew Wilkinson will get the Oldham attack on the I'm sorry, I pause there, Mark. I can't believe that, because Sam G has just basically old man the referee again. And this referee, we were saying in the first half, he's not had a bad game, but I tell you what, at the start of this second half, Mark, he's really had a shocker.
He has had a shocker, and that's why you've got to be physical and physically dominant in your forward play, because if something does go against you, the referee does make a wrong decision, the player that tries to old man the referee is too worried about the smack he's going to get round the chops than worrying about what the referee's going to do. You've got to leather him and belt him, and Bradford don't belt anybody. That's the problem.
Well, as it stands at this moment, then Oldham certainly in the ascendancy in the opening 7 minutes of this second half, and Sam G, centre field, manages to offload to Dave Hewitt. Dave Hewitt dances one way, then dances back. He's wrapped up eventually by Corey Aston and Colton Roach, but Sam G will come back with the ball on the next attack, and Oldham sit on the 20-metre line. They're to the left-hand side of the uprights, but Matthew Wilkinson, looking for runners, manages to hit another forward big barraging run there from Sadiq Adedebe of the Oldham team. Matthew Wilkinson then hits Dave Hewitt. Dave Hewitt with a little bit of a kick. That then is picked up by Bradford, and that will see Lee Smith held up just on his own line, although the referee has said no, he was held up behind the line and given a dropout now to Oldham. So Oldham will get the ball back on the next set of 6. The referee stops the clock, and Bradford certainly been put under the cosh,
totally put under the cosh, physically and emotionally. And the Bradford, because they're running in ones, they haven't got it together. Even if, when I say belt and leather people, what I'm talking about, you know what I'm talking about, hitting hard in the tackle, that makes you feel better. Your adrenaline pumps, you're aggressive. People don't like getting hit hard. The Bradford defence, the shoulder charge, and the Bradford hit hard is absolutely far too soft from players that think they're going to make Super League players. Some of these players out here have more chance of becoming mother care checkout girls than Super League footballers.
Well, the Oldham forwards are certainly enjoying coming down this Bower forward slope. We saw there on the first drive, Michael Ward absolutely love and relish the collision between 3 Bradford defenders. Then we saw a similar thing with Sadiq Adi-David and Oldham with Danny Grimshaw looking to press their advantage early in this second half. I don't know what Scott Naylor said at half time, Mark, but he obviously went in with a few words, and he must have thrown well, we see one of the most easiest tries ever scored, and this, Mark, is in danger of slipping away from the Bulls.
Well, I think it is, and I'll tell you for why. Because we've got a fella called G, who's about as fit as I am, and he's rotund, he's blowing now, he couldn't even take a run. I thought he dropped that ball. I think this referee's absolutely an absolute shocker in this second half. And he's just running at Bradford, and they can't stop it. And that's down to fear in your heart, lack of passion, lack of determination for the red, amber and black. I can see Bradford losing this game if they're not careful to some part-time players who are, quite frankly, a little better than top amateurs.
Well, Michael Ward then comes up with a try for Oldham, and he's promptly brought off the park, mark, as he looks to be blowing for. It looks as if he could do with some oxygen.
Well, that's what I'm saying. How can you be getting beat by players that can't even breathe when they've had 2 or 3 runs? That's not right. But it happens. It can happen to a team. If you think you're a superstar and you don't play well and you don't do the basics right, you'll get rolled over by rugby league's a very mean game. You'll get rolled over by people, and they've converted that. They're right back in it, they're Oldham. That's game on.
Well, Luke Cooley then converts that one, and that brings a score to Oldham Ruffians 16, Bradford Bulls 20. We see Brandon Wilkinson come onto the park for his run out this afternoon. Mark, sorry, you were going to say?
I'm just about to say, I'm watching the Bradford players walk back to the halfway line to kick the ball. That tells you everything. Not interesting.
Well, we see Sam Alice trying to G everybody up, and he's looking around. He's looking at 1 or 2 players and saying, come on, we're better than this. Lee Smith puts us an eye kick. That is taken by Danny Grimshaw. He actually loses that behind him, but manages to regather. He's then wrapped up by James Bentley and Brandon Wilkinson in that tackle, as Oldham now, through Jack Spencer, will look to bring the ball away. And again, the sun is beating down into the Bradford Bulls players' eyes, but they really do need to muscle up in the forward pack and try and stop this marauding attack of Oldham at every opportunity. Again, Oldham now get to their own 20-metre line and looking to burst the Bradford line with these big forwards. They keep sending these forwards on these little blindside runs, Mark, that's finding the gaps within this Bradford defence and picking Bradford off quite easy. Sadiq Habibi then up to the 40-metre line, and again we see the gaps appearing for him, Mark, and he's just been able to step into them. Oldham kick on the last end, that will go down to Lee Smith. Lee Smith will pick up, he will then feed Ilias McCarney. Ilias McCarney will go one way and try to get some pace going here. Manages to edge his way 35 metres away from his own try line then, as Bradford on the first tackle. Lee Smith then feeds Brandon Wilkinson. Brandon Wilkinson then manages to get Bradford just 5 metres short of the halfway line. Lee Smith in again, that will go to Vila Alafifi. Vila Alafifi picked up quite easy. Bradford do manage to get inside the Oldham half though, as Sam Alice now feeds Colton Roach, but no momentum gained there at all with the forwards. Nobody running from deep. Joe Keys takes the ball. Joe Keys then feeds Corey Aston. Corey Aston comes up with a forward pass to Cameron Smith. And the Bulls' heads are down, Mark. The body language of the Bradford Bulls players is...
Well, if I didn't know better, it's like they're teasing the fans and doing it on purpose, but of course they're not. How do you pass a forward pass when you're attacking your opponent's line? How do you give a forward pass when you run up a hill? How do you give a forward pass when your teammate should be at a bit of an angle to you? It's just not thinking, and it's so frustrating, Bradford. It's unbelievable.
Well, you know, we call the first half, Matt, and the first half I thought was entertaining, and it was. The Bradford Bulls showed a bit of promise and certainly showed something that's been missing in the few games that I've been with your good self. But this second half horror show so far, Matt. You know, we've had around about 12 minutes, and to be honest with you, it's been as bad as half the rugby as I've seen all season from Bradford.
It has, sadly, very, very sadly. It's sad to commentate on, but you've got to call it as you see it on the field. It's not going to make it anything there isn't. But I tell you what, we're going to have a grandstand finish in store, and it's going to be edge of the seat stuff, because Oldham think they've got this.
So Oldham will go looking then. Danny Grimshaw passes the ball to Ben Morris. Ben Morris next on, and that's a bit of a relief for Bradford. Bradford will get the pudding at the scrum, and again Bradford will look now to try and get something going here. Danny Grimshaw looks to have a bit of a knock mark. He's sort of like hunched over. That wouldn't be a bad thing for Bradford if he went off the park.
No, he's had a good game for Oldham. He always does, and he's not a bad little player, Danny Grimshaw.
Well, he's certainly knowing where to exploit the gaps and certainly pick off the Bradford defenders at will. Bradford then put the ball in. The ball comes out of the scrum. James Bentley will take the first drive. Scotty Moore comes off the park, replaced by Liam Kirk. Brandon Wilkinson will manage to get Bradford up to the halfway line as Sam Alice feeds Corey Aston. Corey Aston then will take a bit of a ball to the line to get Bradford to the 40-metre line as Liam Kirk back on the park will take the first drive of his second half set. Bradford still looking, trying to get something going here as the ball goes through hands. James Bentley takes a little bit of an hospital pass from and now comes up with an error. So what I was going to say is James Bentley took an hospital pass from Joe Keys. That put James Bentley in all sorts of trouble. James Bentley then comes up with a knock on, and again when Bradford are in a key area, a key position of the park, again an error mark that shouldn't be there. As it's unbelievable. You've got to be here to be seeing it.
Shape and structure, thinking, compatibility with your teammate. What I mean by that is thinking, shouting, calling, communication. But it all stems from good yardage off the front foot from the forwards, and that's just not happened. This is going to go right to the wire, and you would say, and it makes me sad to say this, I hope I'm wrong, but Oldham, I think they're going to win this game. I think they're in the ascendancy. I think it's going to take a piece of individual magic from a Bradford player to sneak this one. There's quite a way to go as well.
There is quite a way to go. I don't think it's over by any long shot of the imagination here. I think Bradford need to get some composure. They need to complete a set of 6 and get the confidence from completing that set of 6. But at this moment in time, they're coming up with too many errors that's allowing this Oldham pack and the Oldham players, with the likes of Jack Spencer, Luke Adamson and Kenny Hughes, to certainly dominate in the forward part of the field. But Bradford now have got to stand up to the test, Mark. They've got to get through some graft. They've got to get Oldham and certainly go forward and meet Oldham. Stop Oldham offloading in the tackle like they have done there on 3 occasions. It keeps the ball alive. The ball goes out to Dave Hewitt in the centre of the park. Dave Hewitt then feeds Luke Adamson. Luke Adamson will take the little drive forward. That get Oldham up to the 40-metre line of the Bradford Bulls as they now go again with Jack Spencer. Jack Spencer's been everywhere today, Mark, so far.
He's had a fabulous game. He has a right game for Oldham, he has. He's been all over the place.
Yeah. Fifth and last tackle then. Dave Hewitt will put a kick through. That will be regathered. Well, Lee Smith lets it go one way and watches it. I didn't think he was going to pick that up. He will be held in goal, and that
I have never seen a weaker piece of play from a former England international than that. That is absolutely disgraceful. Absolutely, you want horsewhipping for that. That is disgraceful. To run backwards, not want to take a bouncing ball. That's not what we're about at Bradford, and that's why we're in Division 1.
Well, those are the comments of my co-presenter Mark Hobson, and to be honest, everybody's entitled to his opinion. The fans, the spectators that's paid good money to come and watch this team today, you guys listening at home, everybody's entitled. We can only say what we see, and I've got to say that was shocking defence. That was shocking defence from Bradford that sees Oldham now get another set of 6, and Oldham will look to apply on the pressure as we see Adam Clay in the centre of the park. He's wrapped up by Brandon Wilkinson and Liam Kirk. Dave Hewitt then having a bit of a run round. That will feed Cameron Price-Paul. And again, Oldham just taking a bit of sting out of the Bradford defence, but certainly looking through the likes of Dave Hewitt and through the likes of Clarkson to test this Bradford defence at every opportunity. Now, we see an error, we see a knock-on from Bradford. The referee judges a knock-on from Bradford, and again, that will see Oldham come up with a possession in the centre of the park. Mark, I'm stumbling for words here. It's a bit, it's getting to be a bit of a bum fight, if you like.
I look at the pain next in Jeff Tuve's face. He doesn't want to be associated with this, and I've heard him ask the question why on several occasions, and we could answer that all afternoon, but it would become, I think Bradford are playing right into the Oldham hands. I think all Oldham are doing very, very simply, ruffling Bradford's feathers, just running at them. Isn't particularly clever, and Bradford just can't handle it, and they're coming up with error after error after error after error, and it's giving much possession back to Oldham in the Bradford 20-metre mark, and it'll only be a matter of time before the Bradford defence drops off and Oldham are right back in it.
Well, we see Sam Alice then shoot out of the line, which leaves a massive gap for Oldham to exploit. Liam Kirk having to muscle up, and like I say, the gaps are appearing. It's only going to be, I think, if Oldham score, Mark, it's going to be a matter of time, not when, it's just going to be a matter of time of them crossing the line again and adding to their score. And as I say that now, the referee says no, it's not going to give that try due to crossing. I thought he'd actually gone for shielding there, Mark. I'm not, you know what I mean?
Right,
when he first went, he went, you know what I mean? But yeah, I think you're right, Mark, and you know what I mean? But Bradford get out of jail there, Mark. They really do.
Wow, that was, I mean, they've scored the try. Now, if it's illegal, it's illegal. But that's relieving pressure. Bradford are going to do something with this now. And they've got to score. They've got to score and put some daylight between them and Oldham.
So Bradford then, with possession, it's the first set of 6, Mark, that they've had really, or the first possession they've had in the last 6 or 7 minutes, because it's all been Oldham. And now Sam Alice looking for runners and saying, come on, who wants this ball? There's nobody there apart from Brandon Wilkinson, who's one of the younger guys that's on the park now. But again, Sam Alice is looking, he's pointing for runners. Carlton Roach then comes on his shoulder. He actually hits Corey Aston. Corey Aston will manage to edge his way towards the Oldham 30-metre line. Quick play of the ball, then Carlton Roach in possession. Carlton Roach again drops one way, and then on the 5th and last mark, Bradford managed just to get to the 20-metre line. Joe Keys with a little kick. That's a tester, but a tester that's taken by Adam Clare. Adam Clare is wrapped up then by James Bentley, and Oldham will come back. They'll bring the ball straight back to the centre of the park through Ben Morris, and they'll look now to use these forwards in the centre of this park and open up the Bradford defensive line at every opportunity.
Yes, indeed, and Oldham are growing in confidence as every minute goes by, as Bradford fail to, with this possession they do have, put any pressure on the Oldham line, and I think they know they've got the measure of Bradford, and I think this is a bit of a worry.
So Jack Spencer then again feeds Joe Burke. Joe Burke goes down under the tackle, and Matthew Wilkinson will then exploit the little gap. They'll give the ball back to Jack Spencer, and that is fortunate. That is lucky for Bradford. Now the referee's going to stop the play. He's going to bring the play back. He's going to go for the first knock on and give head and feet to Bradford. But again, if that ball had stuck in the hands of Mikey Wood, then Oldham were over, Mark.
Yeah, they are. Jack Spencer's had a fabulous game for Oldham. He's totally out-muscled and out-performed and bossed the Bradford back almost single-handedly, and that's not acceptable, quite frankly.
Well, Bradford will get the put in then as the referee stops the clock, allow for some water to go on. Scott Moore waits to come back on the park for Bradford. I hope that he's had some instructions and some much needed instruction from Jeff Tuvey as to what is needed now for Bradford to get themselves into this game. Quick scoreline update, it's finished. Crusaders 20, Hunslet 12 in League One, so a bit of a defeat for Hunslet there. We'll give you more scores as we get them throughout the course of this second half. Bradford then with Ilias McCartney will try to get something going, and Bradford certainly need to be on the front foot. Cameron Smith there goes one way. That's a great little run from Cameron Smith. Manages to get Bradford 45 metres away from their own line. Infringements there at the play of the ball, and Oldham sneak offside. Bradford managed to get to the halfway line with Ilias McCartney taking a second drive. this set. Scott Moore then. Scott Moore feeds Liam Kirk. Liam Kirk will only go one way, and that one way is forward. He manages to fall a metre shy of the 40-metre line. Scott Moore in again, feeds Corey Aston. Corey Aston, Joe Keys. Joe Keys managing to get picked off quite easily there. If he'd have given the ball to James Bentley would have gone through the gap. Fifth and last tackle then, as Corey Aston will kick over the top of the Oldham defence. That will fall to Luke Cooley. Luke Cooley will pick that one up. He's wrapped up by James Bentley and James Mendika and Vila Alafife, and then that will then see Oldham come back and take the ball back to the centre of the park. Again, looking to get their big forwards through these gaps, Mark, that's appearing, and it is. I know you're shaking your head, Mark.
An alarming rate, quite frankly, because look at the line speed of Bradford. They're standing back and defending on the heels and letting Oldham run at them. That takes the momentum, or gives the momentum to the attacker, and it's harder to defend against when you're coming off your heels. If you're going forward, you've got the bulk and the weight, and you've got the mass.
Well, Jack Spencer then's wrapped up on the fifth and last tackle. Dave Hewitt then will put a high kick up into the centre of the park. That will come down with snow on it, although Lee Smith is underneath it and manages to take that one, although he is wrapped up quite easily by the Oldham defence, and just acknowledges that as Brandon Wilkinson then will look to put some distance between him and his supporting players here of the Bradford Bulls. And again now we see a high shot coming from Cameron Pierce-Paul on Cameron Smith, and referee gives a penalty to Bradford. I think that's Bradford's first penalty of this half, Mark.
Yes, I think it is. I think you're absolutely right.
Yeah. Corey Aston puts that one way over the Lord Tom Pendry stand. I think that one's gone into the Farmers Field, so that's one for them to collect in the morning. Bradford then will again now try and get something going. They are inside the Oldham half. They push towards the Oldham 30-metre line with Colton Roach taking a try there. He's wrapped up by 3 Oldham defenders. Scott Moore in again, feeds Corey Aston. Corey Aston then finds James Keys, Joe Keys, Lee Smith. Lee Smith with a little kick, finds Josh Rickett, and Josh Rickett is metres short of the line. A little bit of inventive play from Bradford, but what can Bradford do here? Joe Keys then will go towards the lines. He's wrapped up. As Bradford still in possession, Scott Moore then goes and gives a forward pass, and the referee will stop the clock as we have a few injuries there. But Mark, the line was begging, the opportunity was there, and yet in that key position, the killer punch has gone.
Thinking game not there, structure not there, and it's horrible criticising, but this team's not good enough. This team is simply just not good enough. It doesn't have the old Bradford passion. There's no fight. We want a couple of Fairbanks back of David Hobbs. I don't know where we're going to get them from. They don't exist in this modern day game, but these kids are okay, but that's what they are, the kids in the thinking game. Jeff Tooby there must be having I feel for the guy, because he doesn't coach that. The thinking game's got to be better. They've got to be switched on more, and they had Oldham on the back foot there, and there should have been some points come from that, and it's just a case of composure, thinking, structures. Wow.
So while we've got a quick break in play, I'll quickly give you some scores as I've got them then. Halifax 6, Widnes 26, London Broncos 18, Featherstone Rovers 22, Dewsbury Rams 24, Toulouse 26. Obviously it's 20 points to Bradford, 16 points to Oldham here. Rochdale Onyx 10, Batley 16, and Swinton 24, Sheffield 26.
Close games. I mean, we are still leading this game here, Pete, and we're not going to lose fact to that. So let's take something from it. And Bradford deserved the lead on the first half performance, but you just can't help thinking that Oldham just have something up the sleeve that can do it. And I hope I'm wrong. I really hope I'm wrong, because the fans have been fantastic today, outnumbering the Oldham fans by 2 or 3 to 1. They deserve some sort of a victory and something to cheer about today.
Well, as you say, the Bradford Bulls fans have turned up in plenty of number here, bedecked in the red, white and amber of the Bradford Bulls, as Oldham managed to get the way up to the halfway line, and again Cameron Pierce-Paul there throws in the ball at acting half. That will see Ben Davis take a drive. Ben Davis comes down on the 5th and last tackle, and the kick goes up. That will test Ilias McCarney, and the referee says knock on. and he will give play the ball to Bradford. I think Bradford were very lucky there, because to me, I'd have thought that Illis McCartney was a guy that knocked on there, Mark. So I think Bradford have been lucky on that.
Count themselves very lucky on that. Well, let's take that. We need it.
Yeah. Well, we'll take anything at this moment in time.
Well, we're 10 metres in from the far stand side, and we're about 15 metres up from our own try line, with a slope ahead of us. And Oldham, who think they can smell the win in this game, so we need everything we can get.
Well, Bradford have managed to stem the Oldham scoring machine, if you like, Mark. But the thing is, whilst they've been in defence, Mark, they've managed to contain Oldham a little bit. Although they've come up with errors at crucial times, they have managed to keep Oldham and contain them a little bit. And now we see Bradford break into the Oldham half as they come up the slope. Scotty Moore will hit Brandon Wilkinson. Brandon Wilkinson will get to the 40-metre line on the fifth and last tackle. Corey Aston will look to put a little chip kick over. That will turn Lou Cooley round, but the referee says that's gone dead, and he will bring the ball back and give the head and feed to Oldham. Mark.
Well, that means Bradford are going to defend some more, and Oldham, whenever they've got the football, have got a chance of scoring. Bradford needs to, quite frankly, force Oldham into an error in the next 2 or 3 minutes, get the ball back and keep control of the football. The last tackle option has got to be better. You've got to be near your opponent's line if you put a high kick in. If you put in a grubber kick in, you can't be too far away. So it's about thinking about putting the pressure on at the right moment, at the right time. But all that has got to be done, only can be done from good field position.
A couple of quick score updates then, as I've got them. Keighley Cougars 18, the Toronto Wolfpack 26. Doncaster 20, Whitehaven 16. York City Knights 22, Workington Town 12. Play continues then here at Bowerford. Oldham are in possession, and Bradford again having to come up with the defensive tackles, as Lou Cooley will run the ball at James Bentley. James Bentley manages to wrap up Lou Cooley with the help of Joe Keys, and again a little bit of to-ing and throwing there. Now the referee will say that's a head-high tackle. This is going to get a bit scrappy. There's one or two players pointing at one another. Sam G's in there, Lou Cooley's in there, and again, if the referee's not careful, it gives the penalty to Oldham, but it's getting a bit scrappy, Matt, and I think Oldham have found a way to ruffle the Bradford feathers.
Yeah, I think they've found a way to ruffle the referee's feathers as well, so I think we're in for a very intense 10 minutes here.
Adamson then will get the play underway for Oldham. He will take a little drive. He's wrapped up by James Bentley. And again, another penalty given to Oldham for a high tackle. Now, he's saying something to the referee. The referee's calling out Scotty Moore. And I think what Adamson said there, the Oldham player, is, come on, ref, that's 2 on the bounce.
Yep.
And now the referee speaking to Scott Moore. I think he's telling Scott Moore that the next one will see you on a team warning, and or somebody possibly in the bin for that.
I think you're right, and I think this next set could be a
this is going to be the tester. This is going to be the tester.
Bradford rolled out here.
Yeah. Ironic cheers then from the crowd here, and I'm sorry if you picked up any of the bad language there that was overheard. We are sat with spectators around us.
It's very cosy, Pete, but you hear everything.
Yeah, and like I say, we do apologise. The bad language wasn't myself or Mark Hobson. Let's assure you that. We're good church boys. Never swear on a Sunday.
No.
So, knock on then by Jack Spencer, who, has been, for my mind, Mark, he's been Oldham's best player.
Oh, without a shadow, he's been a thorn in the Bradford side all afternoon, and he's epitomised effort and engagement and toughness. What a rugby league forward has to have.
Yeah, well, he's played at loose forward today, and he has been absolutely.
He's been very
his
good.
Linkage play, he's been everywhere. And he's certainly got through a lot of work. Although he come up with a knock on there that we'll see scrum down. Bradford will get the put in, and now it's up to Bradford to see what they can do. As we see Villa Alafifi then take. We see James Mendika take a drive, and Bradford. Now that again looks a bit of an innocuous tackle on Illis McCartney, but again it's rugby league, Mark. It's rough and tough. You've got to be.
Yeah, well, it's not tiddlywinks.
Now I think Scott Moore has decided. Well, if it's good for the goose, it's good for the gander. And now Scott Moore throws the ball and makes it look as if it was reached out. So that gets a relieving penalty.
Yeah, against Dave Hewitt, it was had a good game for Oldham. But what worries me, Pete, although it doesn't matter now because they've tapped it and gone, they only kicked that ball 8 metres. That should have gone another 30 metres upfield. But again, it's only a basic thing, but it's a thing that doesn't help you when you're trying to beat the opposition.
So Bradford then inside the Oldham half for only the second time or third time on of this half mark that I can recall. Scott Moore looking for support players. It's Corey Aston. It's Joe Keys. Joe Keys again is wrapped up quite easily by 2 Oldham defenders, and it's not been a good day at the office for Joe Keys.
No, he's not going into the game at Joe Keys today. He's not stabbed his authority, and Corey Aston hasn't. They're not a good combination of a halfback. It's not the best Bradford halfback pairing, and that's not without being rude to them, because they go out on the field, they put the body on the line, but there you go, that's just another mistake from Bradford attacking the line, and Jeff Tooby's actually screaming that, he can't surely put up with this much more. I mean, you could lay the blame. He's the coach, but I've never seen stop-start, passing, mistakes, lethargy in a rugby league game.
Well, what we've actually saw there, Mark, was Bradford were in the ascendancy again as they went towards the line. Joe Keys hit Damien Sirinen. Damien Sirinen was wrapped up in the tackle. We then had the resulting play of the ball from that tackle, and Brandon Wilkinson knocked on, which allows Oldham then relieves all the pressure and gives advantage back to Oldham, who will now start this set of 6 centre field from the scrum, and Jack Spencer again, as he has done all day, will look to come and take on the Bradford line.
I don't think the referee can hold his nerve, because the Oldham players are shouting for everything, as you would expect, because they're getting frustrated now as the game is slipping away from them a little bit. Not over yet. If they one score from them and they're equal, if it's under the post or somewhere near a kickable place, then they'll win this game.
Well, we've just seen Matthew Wilkinson, one of the substitute forwards for Oldham, and he's just brushed aside Liam Kirk and then gone again and beat James Bentley before being wrapped up. Last tackle then here for Oldham, 5th and last tackle. Oldham just sit on the halfway line. Dave Hewitt will put up a high kick, that comes in field. That will see Lou Cooley regather. Lou Cooley fills that behind to Cameron Pearce-Paul. Cameron Pearce-Paul goes one way, then goes the other. He's then wrapped up. If Cameron Pearce-Paul had offloaded that.
Well, I'm going to say something now. Lee Smith wants horse whipping. He's an England international. He didn't put his body on the line for the team. His heart went. That's disgraceful. That is, and I'm going to commentate on that because that is disgraceful.
Chris McCartney then with the ball for Bradford Bulls centre field will now try and get Bradford through Scott Moore and Brandon Wilkinson as Bradford get to the 30-metre line. Scott Moore then feeds Vila Alafifi. Vila Alafifi managing to get 35 metres as the referee now rules that Vila Alafifi has knocked on, and it is unbelievable, Mark, what the scenes that we've seen here. We can't really convey this unless you're actually here, or we try and convey it to our listeners back in Bradford and wherever you are in the world. But this second half capitulation, Mark, of Bradford is certainly worrying.
It's the worst performance I've seen from a rugby league team in a long time. It's just error after error after error after error. Look, let's take nothing away from Oldham. They've had nothing to lose. They've hurried, they've carried, they've begged the referee, they've talked to the referee, they've been aggressive in the running, and they've never stopped running down this hill. But we've just put in mistake after mistake after mistake. And Vila Alafifi, wow, my goodness. Wow. Really, the earth should open up and swallow him down. Well, the score is still in Bradford Bulls' favour here at Bowerpole as they lead the Oldham Ruffians 20 points to 16. Although Oldham now will go in search of more points, and Sam G again with Michael Ward looking to get some yardage between them and certainly create havoc against this Bradford defence. What can they do then? Sam G, it's Dave Hewitt. Dave Hewitt then hits Cameron Pearce-Paul. Cameron Pearce-Paul comes on a diagonal run back towards the post, which is where Oldham seem to want the play in the centre of the park. Sadiq Adedebi will take another drive then, and that will be the 4th tackle of this set of 6. Sam G works one way, looks to offload, finds Dave Hewitt quite easily. He's not wrapped up. Dave Hewitt dances one way, then opens a massive gap on the 5th and last tackle, and Bradford standing up to this Oldham
attack so far, although now we see Matthew Wilkinson of the Oldham Ruffiads, and the referee says he's held up on the line, so he won't give that one. But how easy was that for Matthew Wilkinson to go one way, Mark, wrong foot the Bradford Bulls defence, create a gap of his other, and if it hadn't been for the post protector, Mark, that would have tried. Well,
I'd like to get a jersey on and get out on that field, because I'm sure I could do better. I'm absolutely positive for 10 minutes spell I could do better. I can't believe what I'm seeing, and neither. I've talked about Jeff Tuvey, who's 10 foot away from me. He's absolutely going ballistic, barking at Lee Beattie, barking at Dunning, and almost blaming them if it's their fault. They're not out there, but it's meant for an interesting game. I've been on the edge of my seat, and I just want Bradford to win so much, because I feel that the fans deserve a win.
Well, the fans that's travelled en masse, yes, certainly do deserve a win, as we now see Bradford with James Mendika come to this main stand side, as it is the fifth and last tackle. Joe Keys puts a kick over. That's taken quite easily by Luke Cooley. Not a real tester for Luke Cooley. Luke Cooley will come back then, beats the first line of defence, manages to get to the Oldham 40-metre line. He's still going forward, now 42 metres from his own try line, brought down by Mikel Alaleski and Liam Kirk, as Oldham again managed to burst the Bradford defensive line and get into Bradford's half with some ease here, Mark, as they certainly go looking again through Adam Clay, who's not had a bad game. Adam Clay, if he'd got that ball to Dave Hewitt was away, but Sam G then in at the ruck area will get Oldham on the front foot. Oldham comes centre field again with Matthew Wilkinson. They will feed Sadiq Adebayor, and Adebayor will go towards the sticks, and he will be held up on the line. And Mark, that was so easy. How many metres did Oldham make there, Mark, from their own half, their own 30-metre line, Mark, to be held up on the line in 4 tackles? I think Bradford invented another game. It's called defend and don't move off your line. And I've never seen anything. I've never seen players get as much meterage going forward, and yet we're still in the lead. The clock's ticking down, and we're still in. But surely it's only a matter of time before Oldham score. It's going to be a grandstand finish here then at Bowerfold. The score on the Providence scoreboard reads Oldham Ruffiads 16, Bradford Bulls 20. Bradford still have the advantage on the scoreboard as the clock ticks down here. I reckon that we've got about 3 minutes left, if not less than this one, Mark, due to a few stoppages that we've had, as we wait for Oldham to restart the play. Sadiq Adebayor was held up on his back. He's got the ball in hand on the 5th and last tackle. On the 4th tackle, so Oldham still got 2 tackles in this one, as the Bradford fans strike up the drums and the Bradford fans sing to the Bradford team, cry out their name, and hopefully it's going to be a victory cry for Bradford. But Oldham still in possession. Dave Hewitt will put a little kick across. That's a bit of a tester, and that is not forward, so Bradford will get possession through Elias McCarney. Elias McCarney will wait for the referee to give the old clear, or he now starts the play, plays the ball. Cameron Smith comes forward for Bradford. Scott Moore in at acting half. Scott Moore hits Mikel Alaleski. Then Mikel Alaleski will look to get his big frame going, and again he's wrapped up quite easily by 3 Oldham defenders. Scott Moore then feeds Damien Sirren, and Damien Sirren back on the inside to Joe Keys, opens up the middle gap. Joe Keys then manages to go one way and get Bradford to their own 40-metre line, as Scott Moore again feeds Damien Sirren, and Damien Sirren gets the Bradford Bulls up to the halfway line. A quick play of the ball, sees Scotty Moore burst forward. Scotty Moore then in a huge collision with Michael Ward on the 5th and last. We'll see Lee Smith with a kick. That kick bounces quite easily for Luke Cooley. Luke Cooley then comes back to the centre park, as Oldham have done all day. They've certainly wanted to take Bradford on in the middle of the park, and Scott Naylor must have known against his former club, Mark, that if he's going to win this game, it's going to be won in the middle of the park, because Bradford's forward pack just non-existent.
Well, the Oldham winger, you could tell he thought he could all-man the referee, and that's exactly what he's done. There was nothing wrong there from Oldham. From Bradford, they've been given the penalty, Oldham, and the Oldham players now know what they can do. Number 2 play for Oldham. He said something to the referee, knowing the referee's weak. His second half performance has been poor. They kicked the penalty, they gave some 30 metres. Now they're about 5 minutes away from Bradford line, 15 metres in with 6 tackles to go.
So Ben Morris takes the first drive then. Ben Morris then is, like I said, takes the first drive. Then the second drive is taken by Michael Ward. Michael Ward will keep Oldham in the centre of the field as Sam G is now, and it looks like it's getting a bit tasty again as Sadiq Abiyor comes running in at Damien Sirenen, but Damien Sirenen just swats him away like you would swat a fly if it was buzzing around your head. But Oldham again still hunting this try that will bring them level in this one, and again some nice strong tackling, resolute tackling from the Bradford defence there as Carlton Roach and Scotty Moore wrap up Michael White. Sam G goes one way with Michael Wilkinson. Michael Wilkinson will then feed Luke Adamson. Luke Adamson is wrapped up on the fifth and last tackle.
He'll kick to the corner, I believe.
Yeah, as they go there, and you'll see Dave Hewitt puts a little kick in behind the sticks. That will go dead. That will see now Bradford race away with James Mendika. James Mendika will play the ball. James Mendika hits Brandon Wilkinson, and it's Cameron Smith. Cameron Smith then plays the ball. Illis McCartney then now in possession, and we see, I'm sure that's James Mendika that's down in back play, Mark, with a bit of a knock. But Vila Alafifi will get the Bradford Bulls to the 40-metre line. Jeff Tooby's barking orders here. He's telling the team to lift the performance, to lift the intensity here at Bower Fold. Mikel Alaleski will do that. He'll get forward, gets Bradford 25 metres away from the Oldham try line. Scotty Moore then gets Bradford over the 20-metre line. And now we see Liam Kirk on a little crossfield run. Liam Kirk will again bring Bradford towards the centre of the park. The clock is ticking, don't know how long's left, but Bradford needs something here. Lee Smith comes up with an error and a knock on, and Mark, could that be it for Bradford?
Well, it's a scrum head and feed to Oldham on the 10-metre mark, 10 metres in from the far stand side. That came to nothing, that attack for Bradford. Lee Smith's had a nightmare of a game, absolute nightmare, clueless today, Lee Smith, and that saddens me to say, he has been a very good player. Everybody's looking at the clock, and this is going to go right down to the wire. I think Bradford fans deserve a victory. On the second half performance, Oldham deserve the victory. On the first half performance, Bradford deserve the victory. Where's it going to go? But stay with us, because it's going to go right to the wire. I can't help thinking it's going to be a refereeing decision in the next couple of minutes. A drop off a tackle, a knock forward, or something that's going to create a victory for either Oldham or Bradford.
Well, earlier in the season, Oldham pinched it in the last few minutes of the game.
They did.
Yeah,
we're going to see that again.
Yeah, we're looking at the officials, Mark. Is it going to be? Is it going to be Groundhog Day?
Is it going to be Groundhog Day? Exactly.
You know what I mean? And we're looking at the officials. Seems to be confusion how long's left. We're told around about 2 minutes, or just under 2 minutes of this one. Oldham will get the put in at the scrum, and it's going to be Oldham that then look to come back down the park as we wait for play to get back underway.
Well, the attendance 853. I reckon there's going to be at least 400 Bulls fans in here, maybe 5. So that tells you the sort of crowd that Oldham are getting these days.
Well, I've got to tell you, Mark, I think there's got to be a good 700 Bradford Bulls fans here today, mate. I really do.
There you go. And if the Bulls are out of this league, then what's going to happen to teams like Oldham financially? That's another question for another day.
We still wait for play to restart then, as the referee is talking to both sets of players, Mark. I don't know what he's actually saying, but I think he's saying, look, there's not long left. Let's finish this one. Yeah, take this thing out of it as Cameron Pierce-Paul then comes away for Oldham with the ball. He's looking to offload, but he's wrapped up on the 30-metre line as Oldham again through Sam G will go on the Lord Tom Pendry stand, and again he's wrapped up by Ilias McCartney.
I think they're going to boot this down the field and chase it.
I think they're
on
going
the
to
next tackle. I think Josh Ricketts will do well to hold back as far as he can.
Yeah, Mikey Wood then takes a drive to bring Oldham back centre field.
There it goes.
That will hit Dave Hewitt. Dave Hewitt will then hit Michael Wilkinson. Michael Wilkinson will hit Luke Cooley. Luke Cooley then hits. But the ball finds its way into Adam Clay's hands. He's wrapped up by Damien Sirenen and Joe Keys. Matthew Wilkinson again feeds Jack Spencer. Jack Spencer comes up with an error. That will see Bradford with the ball in the hands of Carlton Roach. in the centre of the park, and Bradford just need to calm it down as Damien Sinning goes one way, then goes another. Damien Sinning on bounce down his run there. Fantastic from the Aussie loose forward. That's just what Bradford needed. And again, the message is going out from the Bradford coaching staff: just calm it down, let's run down the clock, let's play out this set of 6, no silly errors, Hobbo.
That's exactly right, but I don't think Bradford ball players are listening to Jeff Toovey. I think he can't do anything about it on the touchline side. I think it's going to be what it's going to be.
Scott Moore then goes from acting half, goes one way on the 5th and last, wrapped up 2 metres shy of the Oldham try line. What can Bradford do here? Ball comes out to Joe Keys. Joe Keys goes one way, dances back the other. Joe Keys is wrapped up quite easily. And again, when that kick, a ball there, Mark, it should have hit Joe Keys, and he should have kicked that then to either one of the corners or the sticks.
Of course he should. Of course he should. And that's what all good halfbacks do. But halfbacks that aren't very good don't do it.
Well, I think, again, we said it earlier on, Mark, I don't think Joe Keys has had the best of afternoons, if we're being perfectly honest.
No, he hasn't. No. And Bradford have been penalised again.
And now Oldham have a penalty. Yeah. We see, I think it's Joe Keys that's actually down injured, Mark. As the fans are here saying, come on, how long's left on the clock? So we've gone quiet because there's not a lot happening. Well, we're not going to sleep.
No,
don't worry about that.
No, I was thinking what to say, but I'm looking at the setup and structure of the Bradford Bulls line and how they're going to defend this, because it's like waiting for a kettle to boil, isn't it? It seems to take forever. A bit like a kid waiting for Christmas when you're 13 or 14. It's only a week away, but it seems like eternity. And the Bradford Bulls, this game ain't over. This game is not over. Oldham could snatch it. I hope I'm wrong. Well, Bradford Bulls must defend like their life depends on it now. They need some respect in their lives. The fans need some respect, and that will come with 2 points heads against Oldham.
Oldham have the ball then, and we'll go and try to finish this one in grandstand foul. Cameron Pearce Paul will again look to burst the line. Oldham sit 5 minutes shy of the halfway line, as we see Spencer, Jack Spencer. Oldham come up with an error. Now Bradford will have the ball. There is now around about 40 seconds left. I've got Andrew Chalmers sat behind me, the Bradford owner, and Andrew Chalmers just showed me about 40. In fact, the hooter goes, and that's nothing more than, I can't say Bradford on the first half showing, Mark. That's a victory that Bradford deserved. On the second half horror show, then Oldham will feel that they've been robbed.
Yeah, first half performance from Bradford was very good. The second half performance from the referee and Bradford has been absolutely shocking. And Oldham coach Scott Naylor and the Oldham team will feel we've thrown everything but the kitchen sink at Bradford, and we've still not won. So you've got to give some credit to the Bradford defence, but